I've been reflecting, and by reflecting, I mean I've been having involuntary flashbacks. Well, most of them are bad. I've been trying my best to sort of analyze them, and this is what I came up with. My first film set ever was with Ashley Kofelt and Courtney Burke at the very, very start of 2015, I believe, when they were shooting 6 short films in as many days. It was really fun. It was really energetic. It was really hectic, and I loved it. I was going through my own shit at the time, so there was some of that going on. But in terms of the film itself, it was awesome. Fast forward a month and a half, Ashley and Courtney have made their way up from Maryland to where I was living at the time in near Philadelphia. And we shot for 2.5, 3 days my film Abigail. During that, I did a lot of growth since Abigail, but during that time, I asked Ashley what she thought, and she gave me the truth. And I wasn't experienced, obviously, but I didn't project a professionalism from a director. I didn't seem to know what I was doing. Even if I did, I didn't seem to know what I was doing or what I wanted. And it left, as an actress, as someone who's following me, it left her feeling like, you know, I'll finish this, but like, is this someone I want to work with again? And that's paraphrasing, but I was very, very grateful for that criticism, because it was something that I had been thinking in the back of my head, but I wasn't sure about, and I wanted someone to be able to tell me. Even to this day, I thank her about it, because you kind of need someone who isn't going to be nice to you, so to speak, or at least when they don't need to be, they're not going to be. They're not insensitive, they're not assholes, but they're going to tell you like, hey, you didn't do this right. You know, it's nothing to do with the direction, it's nothing to do with the story, it's to do with the interpersonal relationships. I didn't feel like it was there. So I took those notes down, and being the dramatic person I am, I assumed I'd never work with anyone again. And then half a year later, Ashley calls me up and says, would you like to be part of the feature we're shooting with the back half of the year? So it's been from January or February-ish when we wrapped Abigail to September. And I head back down, and I personally had a very bad time with nothing to do with the film, just to do with my own shit that was going on. And also that seemed to reflect on. So this is what my job was. My job was a DIT, meaning I would offload cards. We were shooting on the Alexa Classic, so 2K ProRes, offload onto the hard drives that Ashley and Courtney had bought. And during the course of that, sometime early, I was there for about 2 weeks. Sometime earlier in that, I misplaced a piece of footage, meaning it was gone. So that's great. And that was when, I went home, and Ashley wasn't mean about it, but they had a very, all things considered, very nice confrontation with me. We're like, hey, this thing is missing. Do you think you can handle this? If not, that's fine. We'll figure it out. But we need to know up front, because long story short, we don't want you fucking up our movie. I am going to make a quick addendum. They never said any of that shit to me. They said it much nicer than that. I'm just paraphrasing because it's easier. And I, embarrassed, but wholeheartedly wanting to believe that I could do this, I told them the truth. I think I can do this, I swear. And I don't think I fucked up too badly after that, but Lord only knows. Not Lord only knows, Ashley only knows. Oh, Ashley and Courtney know how badly I fucked up. So that ended, and I hadn't been on another film set that wasn't my own until the end of 2020. So before we get to that, in 2018, so about a year and a half after that experience with Ashley and Courtney on their film, I release Abigail that April 2018, and I begin Mockingbird in July. With Mockingbird, I have decided to take on a bigger challenge, a more mature storyline, a more mature themes, more mature everything, more complicated everything, working with a lot more actors, and working a lot harder to make sure that I am on top of my shit. My closest collaborator on that film was Mackenzie, who was the main actress. I told her very straight up, like, I want you to argue with me if you feel that it's better for the movie, but more importantly, I didn't want to be doing things like specifically line reading. I didn't want to be doing line reading, and she called me out on it, thankfully, because I was doing it. So then fast forward to my most recent set experience as of this. In December of 2020, I was on a film set called, at the time it was called New Year's Eve at the Quality Mart, and now it's called Turbo Cola, which is a much better name. And it was basically, I was there for a week when I should have been there for 2 due to unexpected sickness. But the way I got the job was just that sometime in November, I had released Mockingbird. I shared it on one of the groups on Facebook, and Luke liked it. And I recognized him from Instagram. I had followed him a couple months back. I was like, oh, Luke Covert, I know him. And I sent him a friend request and didn't really think about it because either he's going to say yes or no, and I'm going to move on with my day. I found out he said yes because I saw one of his posts appear on my timeline, and he was asking for help or just persons to be on set for his movie he was shooting in December. And I commented saying, I'll bring coffee around. I'll shepherd coffee in the middle of the night. I don't care. That sounds great. Because at this point, my only film experience that wasn't me was so, not bad isn't the right word, but I was so insecure about the work I had done in the past that I really wanted to start from the very bottom, just watch. He basically put me on set as the second AD, the one who, the clapperboard, the one that goes, shh. So I did that, and then by the middle of the week, we saw that we were going through a lot of footage. We were filling a lot of cards during the night, and we wanted to be able to offload on set. So I was like, okay, I brought my computer. It's really fast. I got a bunch of USB 3 ports. If we just bring the hard drives and put them on a desk in the back, I can offload them, and it was really fast. It would take about 15 minutes to offload a terabyte of footage, which was amazingly fast. And, it meant that we had fresh cards every day. So this was me back to being the DIT. And I looked at this, and I was intimidated for a hot second. And I was like, you know what? I don't have time to stress about this. I just have to do it right. And I did. I did it the brute force way of making sure that Drive 1 was all sorted out, and then duplicating all the recent files that I had made straight onto Drive 2. And that meant that everything was uniform. We did end up running into an issue, not caused by me. It was one of the hard drives was faulty. The connection was bad. I would plug it into every single port on my computer. I tried different cords, and I tried even in Dennis's MacBook. And it was just, I called it fucky because it just wasn't working. Yeah, so by the middle of the week, I was the DIT, basically. And I was very happy because this film set was a much better experience. First of all, I fucked up a lot less. Which is probably why I have much fonder memories about it, because I still embarrass myself a little bit, but I think it's in little ways that other people didn't notice, rather than losing footage. So that's good. But I got to talk with Dennis for an extended period of time. We had an hour to kill, and I literally just asked him, like, what's your favorite camera and why? So fast forward to the end of that week, I get violently ill, and I spend 3 days on the toilet, ass and face, and hopefully not at the same time. And I go home early, which was upsetting because of how good of a time I was having. But I'm glad I did, because I would have been completely useless for that whole 3-day stretch. About a month later or so, Dennis premieres a short film, his debut short film. And I watched it, and I really liked it. And we had like a watch party, and we did like a Zoom after party, and I talked with some people, which was nice. And I told Dennis, like, the best compliment I could give is that it doesn't look like your first film. It looks like, he's like got 10 years of cinematography experience. I knew it was going to look good, and shocker, it looks great. That was a given. I'm not really worried about that. However, I saw that he was directing in a way with a confidence that was surprising, to say like, oh, this is my first film. It's like, are you sure? Are you sure you haven't done this before? And then, several months pass, and I'm going through my own stuff, and I'm planning my engagement, and I'm doing all that stuff. And Brooke, who was on Turbo Cola, actually came up with the name Turbo Cola, supposedly. She posts on Instagram that she's made a mood board for 2021. She has goals she wants to reach, and I'm in a good mood that day. For some reason, I'm like, hey, what are your goals? And she tells me, and she mentions one of the goals she has is she really wants to dig into a character with a lot of layers and with actual problems and flaws, meaning that she's not the flawed hero, just a flawed person. I'm like, funny you mentioned that, because I've been working at Amazon and I'm bored out of my fucking gourd, so I just started sort of involuntarily imagining a story, because I drove through this small town that was like, it was less than a single stoplight town. It was gone in 90 seconds at 25 miles an hour. And then I went over a covered bridge down a hill, and it just disappears, and it's just farmland for miles and miles in every direction. And I thought about Brooke because I saw her act. I liked her as an actress. She looks very distinct, and I was like, okay, if I were to put her in a movie, which, you know, she lives in LA, and I've never talked to her, I've never said 3 words to her. I might have handed her a cup of coffee. I don't know her. But, you know, maybe if I were to cast someone like her in it, I would use the fact that she looks so different as part of the plot. What would that be? And I started thinking about it, and I told her about it. She seemed interested, and I wrote up a 15-page scriptment, which is just a mixture of prose and scenes and sarcastic comments from myself. Literally, the ending is something, the end, because I didn't have an ending. But I wrote up the story, I wrote up a scene, and I sent it to her, and she she responded to it really well. It's been very, very cool because Turbo Cola, that experience on that set, put me in Brooke's orbit, because, you know, I never would have found Brooke otherwise. She never would have found me, definitely. And so far it's been a really nice relationship of, like, you know, she wants to be, not wants to be, she is, but she wants to really move into producing, into directing, and into behind the scenes stuff. Currently, her career, she's a choreographer, she's a dancer, she's an actress. You know, just a triple threat, no problem. And she wants to expand upon that. And I was like, well, you know what? I wrote this character. I have this idea for this character, so this would be a new challenge for you as an actress. And she said that she wants to be a producer. I'm like, great. You're a producer now. What that means is that I bitch to you, you bitch to me, and we figure out problems together. And also the major thing is that she said she wants to direct, and she really wants to direct something unique. And I'm like, well, this story that we're writing for her is actually not about her. It's about her and her brother, the characters, her and her brother. And if we have a scene where her brother is solo, dealing with, I'm not going to spoil the movie like I want to. I'm going to wait until we have something to show. If we have a scene where it's just her brother going through something, she can direct it. I'll, you know, point the camera wherever I feel is best or wherever she feels is best, and I'll worry about that side of it. And she can just be in there with the actor, talking it through, working on the emotions, getting the performance. And I said it with the caveat of, like, you know, let's say you direct a scene and it sucks. Okay, then I'll just do it, and we'll, you know, I might suck too, but at least it'll be consistent with the rest of the shit I was doing. So that was a safety net, and I don't think it'll suck. I think she's pretty good. There's no hard delineation right now of who does what. I'm writing it. I'm constantly messaging her with ideas that I have. And she has been really, really cool as a collaborator, and all that stemmed from Turbo Cola. You know, without that movie, without having that experience for that far too short a time I was there, I would never have met her. I would never have seen these wonderful actors on the set. I would love to work with every single one of them. I was not just impressed is too small a word. I was amazed by the talent on display during that really short time I was there. And now it's June 7th. I begin shooting Ava in 1 month and 3 or 4 days. I'm coming down to it, finishing the last rewrite much later than I ever wanted to. And we have all the cast, we have all the crew, we're all ready to go. And it's one of the scariest times for a director is the lead up to directing. At least for me. Maybe it's not for everyone else. But right now, I am scared, I'm motivated, I'm excited. The one thing I can say is that I know Ava, the actress playing Ava, is going to be amazing. The actress playing Maggie is going to be amazing. And all the other, honestly, the actors are good. I've done my job. I've cast the roles, I think, very well. Now it's mine to fuck up, and my goal is to fuck it up as little as possible, and really try to delve into it in a way that I've never done before. Really get to take those notes from Ashley that I should have paid more attention to. Take those notes from Luke that I wrote down, and do my best work. As a director, do my best work. Best work as a writer, best work as a director, because those are where my weaknesses are. Visuals, I'm happy with my visual style. I know how that works. I'm very happy with the way I edit. I'm very happy with the way I do the extraneous stuff by myself, except for writing. I'm working on my writing skills, and I'm happier with this script than I've ever been with anything else. And now it's up to directing, being on set, being intimate, being right there where I need to be, focused on the moment, and hopefully getting some good performances. And then, this is my first time working on multiple projects at the same time, rolling straight from Ava into that next project that we're doing with Brooke, should the stars align, and using everything I've learned on Ava, on Mockingbird, on Abigail, to make that next movie even better, to make that next movie, the best thing I've ever done at that point, until the next one. And that is, I guess to say my goal as a filmmaker is to hopefully make forward progress, at least hopefully not falling backward. Each movie, I would like it to be better than the last. If it's not better than the last, I want to make sure I don't go at least downward in quality, if that makes sense. I don't want to make a movie worse than my first movie. If all works out, Abigail will be the worst thing I've ever made, and Mockingbird will be the second worst thing I've ever made, and Ava will be the third worst thing I've ever made, and it'll go linearly. So my 10th movie, whenever that comes, is going to be the best out of 10, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I'm very motivated today. This is weird. I've had a bad week, and now I'm ready to kick some ass. And when you're depressed, when you've got fucking mental issues, it's nice to feel good for every once in a while, and this is one of those days. So I'm going to use it to the best of my ability. You'd think I'd come up with an ending by now. I don't know. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. I'm gonna go edit something.